The Rise of Skywalker, the glorious final to a once great saga? A movie so expensive, so bloated, and so catastrophically confused that it managed to make The Phantom Menace look like an indie masterpiece. You'd think, with nearly $600 million on the line, Disney could have at least bought themselves a coherent story. But no, what we got instead was a Frankenstein's monster of rewrites, reshoots, and marketing fluff that probably costs more than the GDP of Tatooine. So, grab your lightsaber and maybe a stiff drink if you need it, because we're gonna dive headfirst into the Rise of Skywalker in the $600 million mistake that it was. According to Geeks and Gamers, Disney Star Wars The Rise of Skinwalker, cost Disney a jaw-dropping $593.7 million Roonies. That's right, we're just going to round that up to $600 million for sanity's sake, okay? And get this, it was technically under budget. Yes, you heard that right. The film that looked like it was edited by a caffeinated chihuahua was, according to the studio, under budget. The later stages of the production schedule were accelerated, which affected everything, said editor Marin Brandon. Well, you could have fooled me. Kind of, maybe. Not really. Oh, what a brilliant idea. Let's rush the most expensive film in the franchise. Actually, what could go wrong, right? And then Jar Jar Abrams added, on this one, we knew who and what worked. Did you? Really, JJ? Because if you knew what worked, maybe we wouldn't have Palpatine come back from the dead like some type of Sith zombie pulled out of a fanfiction from a subreddit. Here's where things go from ridiculous to, well, downright bloody fucking tragic. The movie made $1.007 billion at the box office, which sounds extremely impressive, doesn't it? Until, well, you remember that the studio only gets about half of that, $48 million before marketing. That's less profit than the Mario movie made on Happy Meal toys. And speaking of marketing, that alone cost around $150 to $200 million, according to most industry averages and estimates. So, after all that, what does Disney walk away with? A loss on a $1 billion movie. So let's get this straight. They spent nearly $600 million to make a film that lost money and lost fans. That's not Star Wars. That's like grade A front page bankruptcy news. Now, why is this film such a glorious mess? According to the article, the later stages of production schedule were accelerated. Translation, they were in panic mode. Remember how The Last Jedi split the fan base in half? Disney's bright idea was to fix that by cramming 2 movies worth of rewrites, reshoots, and retcons into one giant chaotic piece of junk. You can almost feel the energy from the boardroom. Quick, we need nostalgia, throw in the Death Star. People like Lando, drag him out of retirement. Raise nobody. No. She's a Palpatine now, fix it. No, she's a Skywalker. The fans will love that shit. And thus the under-budget miracle was born, where corners were cut faster than a pod racer on fire. Let's ask, the real question: how did we get here? How did one of the most beloved franchises in cinema history, the most profitable franchise in cinema history, become a bloated corporate shell of itself? Well, maybe it's because Disney spent more time managing optics than managing storytelling. Guess too. Also, nothing says creative passion like saving your film a little bit of money with a few tax loopholes from the good old UK. And sure, you can call it under budget, but when your movie barely turns a profit and alienates the audience, I don't really think that's good accounting. That's a bit of creative bankruptcy. And here's where things get as philosophical as you can while talking about space wizards and laser swords. Rise of Skywalker proves that Hollywood still refuses to admit you can't buy your way out of bad storytelling. No amount of nostalgia or CGI armies on the screen will ever trump good stories. You can throw all the money, the nostalgia, an entire CG army at the moviegoer, but if there's no soul behind it, the audience will notice. And they did. Disney thought the Star Wars brand was untouchable. Instead, they touched it so much it disintegrated. And you know what the worst part is? They've learned nothing. Instead of scaling back, they doubled down on things like The Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, and whatever the Force's female campaign can cook up next. Because in their minds, it's not the story's fault. It's the audience's fault for not understanding their brilliance. The Geeks and Gamers article notes that since Rise of Skywalker, Disney has pivoted hard into TV. Smaller budgets and more control and less risk. Translation: we can't afford another billion-dollar faceplant. And honestly, who can blame them? When your under-budget film costs $500,000 and still loses money, maybe it's time to rethink your strategy. But hey, this is Disney we're talking about. They'll probably just greenlight another trilogy, or worse yet, greenlight remaking the original trilogy, which, don't put it past them, it'll come someday, and then blame the fans again when it all goes awry and no one likes it, and pretend that it was all part of their evil plan. So let's sum this up, shall we? The Rise of Skywalker cost nearly $600 million, barely, and wrapped up the Skywalker saga with all of the emotional depth of a corporate PowerPoint. It wasn't the end fans deserved, but it was the end that the accountants deserved. So next time someone tells you Star Wars is back, remember this film and the panic rewrites, the rushed edits, and the $600 million price tag, plus marketing, that ended in a whimper. And maybe, just maybe, remember when Star Wars felt like magic and not math. So what do you think? Was the Rise of Skywalker doomed from the start? I'd say yes. Or did Disney's obsession with optics and under-budget PR finally kill the Force for good? Let me know in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed watching me dissect Disney's financials or whatever it is. And of course, subscribe for more catastrophic truth from a galaxy not really so far away. This is the Critical Catastrophe. Thank you for watching. Remember, No amount of nostalgia can save a bad movie.